The internet's in shock, Atlanta's in tears, and even the Harris family hip-hop royalty themselves just got hit with a heartbreak no fame could ever protect them from. King Harris, the bold, brash son of T, and Tiny, the same kid who turned chaos into a lifestyle brand, is suddenly fighting a battle nobody saw coming. And this time, it's not about fame, clout, or controversy, it's about survival. They said fame costs. Nobody mentioned it might cost this much. The streets are whispering, the blogs are screaming, and T, the man who built a dynasty off of strength, is reportedly on his knees begging for something he can't control. "Please don't take my son," he said, in what fans are calling the most emotional moment of his entire career. This isn't your average celebrity meltdown. This is darker, deeper, and far more real. It makes the Kardashians' family drama look like summer camp squabbles, a secret illness, a silent struggle, and a father desperate to hold his family together. This is the truth behind the Harris empire that nobody was supposed to see, because when the cameras cut off and the music fades, even kings have battles they can't win alone. Let's uncover what really happened. It all started quietly, no press releases, no flashy posts, no dramatic statements. Just a few subtle signs that something was off in the Harris empire. For a family that built its brand on confidence and control, the sudden silence was louder than any scandal. King Harris, usually seen flexing, laughing, or causing digital chaos, had vanished from social media. No lives, no jokes, no headlines, just gone. At first, fans thought it was another one of his disappear and rebrand stunts. After all, this is King, the kid who turned every mistake into a viral moment. But this time felt different. The energy wasn't playful. It was eerie. Then, out of nowhere, photos started circulating. T outside a clinic in Atlanta, head down, no entourage, no smile. The same man who always walked like he owned every sidewalk now looked like the ground was holding him up. He wasn't the king of the South, he was just a father. And in that moment, the internet smelled blood. Theories started flying faster than tweets after a Grammy snub. Was King sick? Was it drugs? A breakdown? Fans zoomed in on the photos like detectives in a Marvel movie, analyzing body language, facial expressions, even the color of T's hoodie. Someone wrote, "You don't wear black in public unless you're mourning something." Another said, "That's not a celebrity walk. That's a worried dad." The blogs picked it up instantly. Hollywood Unlocked, The Shade Room, Say Cheese, Radar Online, all of them running with the same headline. T spotted outside medical center amid rumors of King's health crisis. And just like that, the internet broke. TikTok turned into a 24-hour vigil of fan theories. Some said King was battling an autoimmune illness. Others claimed it was stress, trauma, or exhaustion from years of online hate. A few even brought up spiritual warfare, because leave it to the internet to turn a real-life crisis into a supernatural thriller. Then came the live stream that changed everything. T, visibly shaken, went live late at night. No filters, no PR polish, just raw emotion. He didn't say much, just, "Y'all, I need prayers." His voice cracked when he added, "Sometimes you think you've got it all figured out, but life humbles you fast. Please, just keep my boy in your prayers." 5 seconds. That's all it took. 5 seconds of vulnerability from a man known for being bulletproof, and the internet went into meltdown mode. Fans flooded the comments with love and fear. "Stay strong, tip. We got you, King. Not him. Not now." But mixed with those prayers came the vultures, the ones who feast on tragedy. They started twisting his words into clickbait headlines like, "T confirms King Harris is dying." Meanwhile, Tiny Harris went completely dark online. No posts, no updates, no appearances. The woman who never missed a photo op suddenly ghosted the world. That silence told fans everything they needed to know. Something serious was happening. One alleged family friend told a gossip blogger, "It's not something you can throw money at. They're trying to stay strong, but this ain't easy." The quote spread like wildfire. Every platform reposted it with dramatic music and captions like, "Pray for the Harris family. People started digging into King's last few social media posts, captions like, "Sometimes I feel misunderstood and the world too loud for my head right now." At the time, they looked like teenage angst. Now, fans said they were hidden cries for help. One viral tweet said, "We laughed at him when he needed love. Maybe this is our fault." The tone online shifted fast. The jokes stopped. The memes disappeared. Suddenly, everyone was emotional, reflective, and full of regret. People who once roasted King's attitude now flooded his comment section with prayers and apologies. "You're stronger than you think," one fan wrote. "We believe in you, young King." And then came the biggest leak of all. A small entertainment outlet dropped a confidential report claiming that King had been admitted to a private medical facility for treatment related to stress-induced complications. No one could verify it, but the story blew up. Some said it was mental health, others whispered it was physical. Nobody knew the truth, but everyone had a theory. Still, one detail from that report caught everyone's attention: the alleged quote from a family insider. T hasn't left his side. He told doctors, "Please don't take my son." That single line shattered the internet. It hit like an emotional nuke. People who'd never listened to a single T song suddenly cared about his pain. The thought of a man who once rapped about invincibility begging for mercy broke hearts across every platform. The comment sections turned into prayer circles. Not T saying that, "God, please cover them. I can't even imagine what that family's going through." Money don't fix everything. Even fellow celebrities began posting messages of support. Snoop Dogg wrote, "Praying for Tip and the fam." Meek Mill tweeted, "Sometimes the strongest ones get tested hardest. Love Og." And from there, the floodgates opened. Everyone was talking, from fans to rappers to influencers, all asking the same question: what's really happening to King Harris? But the Harris family? Dead silent. No updates. No confirmations. Just a wall of privacy in a world addicted to exposure. That silence drove the internet wild. People started claiming there was a cover-up, that maybe it wasn't an illness, but something deeper, something darker. You know how it goes when people don't get answers, they start building stories. Some said King got into a serious accident and the family was hiding it. Others claimed he collapsed after a studio session gone wrong. The most ridiculous theory yet? Someone said it was a curse from industry enemies, because, of course, the internet can't resist a little conspiracy seasoning. But no matter what people believed, one thing was clear: T's world had stopped spinning. The man once known for speeches about discipline and hustle was now posting Bible verses. One caption read, "God, give me strength for the battles I can't see." That line alone hit harder than any diss track. It wasn't T, the rapper, speaking, it was Clifford Harris, the father, cracking under the weight of reality. For fans, it felt personal, like watching an icon lose his armor in real time. The same man who taught a generation about surviving the streets was now fighting to keep his family from falling apart. And the scariest part, nobody knew if King would even make it. The mystery, the silence, and the fear combined into something haunting, something too real for celebrity culture, because behind the glitz and the headlines, this wasn't a PR stunt. It wasn't about fame, image, or control. It was a family praying for a miracle, and the world couldn't look away. The moment that "please don't take my son" quote hit the internet, everything changed. This wasn't gossip anymore, it became personal. The public had watched T build his family on television, flex his discipline on podcasts, and guide his kids like a hip-hop father figure who mixed wisdom with wordplay. But this time, there were no speeches, no clever bars, just silence, prayer emojis, and speculation thick enough to choke on within hours. Every gossip outlet in America was milking the story like it was breaking news from the White House. Headlines screamed, "King Harris fighting for his life" and T seen leaving hospital in tears. None of it confirmed, but nobody cared. The story was too emotional to fact-check. Then came the ripple effect. Artists, actors, and influencers started chiming in, some out of love, others out of sheer trend chasing. Cardi B reposted a tweet saying, "When you've got kids, pain hits different." Boozy went live to remind everyone that strong, but God test the strong ones hardest. Even Rick Ross, who rarely comments on anyone's business, posted a photo of the Harris family with the caption, "Family over fame," but not everyone was noble about it. One podcaster, trying to sound edgy, asked, "What's really wrong with King? Why they hiding it?" That clip alone triggered a storm. Fans attacked him like piranhas. The comments section read like a digital riot. "You don't play with another man's child. This ain't entertainment. This real life." It was proof of how emotionally invested everyone had become, and right when people started defending the family, a new leak dropped a supposed recording from inside the hospital. You couldn't hear much, just voices and faint crying, but one phrase cut through clearly. "He's stable now." It was enough to calm the world for a moment. Stable became the most comforting word on the internet. People wrote it on posts, turned it into hashtags, and exhaled for the first time in days. But relief never lasts long online. A week later, King's old friend went live saying, "Y'all don't know what he was going through. Fame different when you born into it." The friend didn't name the illness, but hinted that King had been carrying pressure nobody his age should feel. That single sentence reignited every theory imaginable. Some said he had mental health issues. Others whispered about burnout, trauma, even a nervous collapse. The conversation turned into a national therapy session disguised as gossip. People started replaying King's past interviews where he joked about fame being fake love. In hindsight, those clips looked heartbreaking. He was screaming for help the whole time. One fan wrote, "TikTok became flooded with edits showing young King smiling on camera, captioned with sad music and quotes about hiding pain behind humor." Meanwhile, T kept posting vague messages that only made things more emotional. "You don't know faith until it's the only thing you got left," another one said. "The hardest battles ain't in the streets. They in your own house." Fans called it poetry. Others called it a cry for help. Either way, it cemented the image of a father who'd run out of answers. Tiny broke her silence next, and her message hit even harder. She posted a simple picture of her family's hands intertwined with the caption, "God's got us." No explanation, no denial, just love. And sometimes love is louder than truth. But the internet doesn't sleep, and soon, someone claimed to have medical documents proving that King had suffered complications from extreme stress and exhaustion. Of course, nobody verified it, but by then, facts didn't matter. Emotion had replaced evidence. Every post became gospel, every rumor a revelation. Fans turned detectives again, drawing timelines of King's behavior before his disappearance. They pointed out that his last few public outings showed him looking drained. Some said his eyes told the story. Others noted he'd been unusually quiet about music. He didn't look happy, he looked haunted. One tweet said, "Getting over 50,000 likes." The media frenzy reached new levels when a major entertainment show ran an entire segment called "The Price of Fame." The King Harris story. They replayed old clips of the Harris family's TV days, comparing the smiling teenage King to the withdrawn adult now at the center of tragedy. The host said, "Maybe what we're seeing isn't weakness, maybe it's the cost of living in a spotlight that never turns off." That line alone went viral, and while all this unfolded, T finally cracked again, this time on camera. A fan caught him outside a restaurant, visibly emotional, saying, "You think you're ready for anything until life remind you you human." The clip spread everywhere. It wasn't T, the rapper. It wasn't T, the businessman. It was just a father on the edge. Support poured in like a flood. Churches in Atlanta held prayer circles. Radio stations dedicated songs to King. Even the city's mayor publicly sent prayers to the family. It felt like the entire South stopped moving for a moment. Then, the most shocking twist yet, King's voice returned online. Out of nowhere, a short audio clip surfaced on his Instagram story. "I'm still here. Thank y'all." 4 words. But they hit harder than any verse his father ever wrote. The internet lost its mind. People cried, screamed, and flooded the post with heart emojis. For a generation used to seeing tragedy play out in real time, this felt like a miracle, but not everyone trusted it. Some claimed it was pre-recorded. Others said it wasn't him at all. The debate didn't matter though, because suddenly, Hope was back in style. Fans started celebrating, posting messages like, "He's fighting," and "The king lives up to his name." Through it all, one thing became clear. This wasn't about fame anymore. It was about fragility. The same people who once mocked King's arrogance were now learning that even the loudest ones are usually the most fragile inside. In a strange way, this story united everyone. It wasn't about gossip or views, it was about humanity. And just when people thought the storm was calming down, another rumor surfaced, one that promised to change everything they thought they knew about King's secret battle. Because behind the hospital walls, behind the headlines and the hashtags, there was something nobody had said yet, something the Harris family had been desperately trying to keep from the world, and when that truth finally leaked, it would leave everyone speechless. When the dust seemed to be settling, one last storm came roaring through. A major entertainment outlet dropped a verified insider story that blew the lid off everything. It wasn't just King Harris' health that had fans emotional, it was how he got there. The report claimed that King had been quietly battling something that no doctor could fix: the crushing pressure of being a legacy child in a world built on chaos, comparison, and constant eyes. For years, King's entire identity had been split between two worlds: his father's empire and his own attempt to escape its shadow. On one hand, he was T's son, born into fame, money, and expectation. On the other, he was King, the loud-mouthed, unpredictable, internet-scrutinized kid everyone loved to drag. According to the insider, that double life became a ticking time bomb. Every camera flash chipped away at him. Every headline about T's wild son turned into another scar. It wasn't drugs. It wasn't an accident. It was exhaustion, emotional, mental, and spiritual. The insider claimed he'd been holding everything in. The pressure broke him. Suddenly, everything started making sense. The late-night posts, the anger, the cryptic captions, the moments of silence between the chaos. Fans began to realize that behind the trolling and tantrums was a young man screaming for peace in a world that didn't let him breathe. And at the center of that realization stood T, a man who built his name on control, now facing the one thing he couldn't manage: his son's pain. The leak detailed how the family had been meeting privately with specialists, trying to get King help before things spiraled too far. But King resisted. He didn't want sympathy. He wanted respect. The insider said he told his dad, "I just want to be seen as me, not your son." That sentence hit harder than any gossip headline. Fans flooded timelines with heartbreak. He didn't want fame. He wanted freedom. We laughed at a kid trying to escape his father's shadow. For the first time, the internet wasn't mocking King, it was apologizing to him. Then, in a move nobody expected, T spoke out again. Not as a rapper, not as a mogul, but as a father stripped bare. He posted a long message that read, "Being a parent don't come with instructions. You try your best, you provide, you teach, you pray, but sometimes, your child's battle ain't yours to fight. You just hold their hand and beg God to handle the rest." The world froze. Every blog reposted it. Every fan shared it. Every parent felt it. That post became the heartbeat of the entire story, a reminder that no amount of fame, money, or status can protect anyone from heartbreak. Tiny followed with her own post. "We learned what real strength is. It's crying in private, praying in public, and believing even when it hurts." It was simple, raw, and utterly human, but just when people started to see a glimmer of hope, another shockwave hit. A video surfaced of King himself. It wasn't dramatic. It wasn't staged. Just King, sitting in a room with soft light, his voice steady but fragile. He said, "I ain't perfect. I messed up. But I'm here. I'm fighting. And I just want peace." That single video broke the internet in half. It wasn't a performance, it was a confession. The comments turned into an ocean of love. "We proud of you, King. This took courage. You don't owe the world anything." For the first time, the Harris family didn't look like reality TV stars or music moguls, they looked like what they really were. People. People trying to survive fame, pain, and the judgment of millions who forget that celebrities are still human. The tone across social media shifted completely. Where once there had been jokes, now there was empathy. Where there was gossip, now there were prayers. Even the coldest corners of Twitter softened. "We laughed at that boy for acting out," one viral post read, "but maybe he was just hurting louder than we were listening." And the most haunting part, nobody ever confirmed exactly what King's condition was. The family never released a medical statement. There was no official diagnosis, no public details, just gratitude. They didn't need to say what broke him. The world already knew what it looked like. Pressure, expectation, spotlight. T slowly returned to public life, but he was different. No more ego. No more motivational rants. Just calm. In interviews, he began speaking about mental health, about how men in the Black community hide pain because they're taught to be strong. He said, "If my son's story makes one other father listen to his kid better, then maybe the pain got purpose." That sentence became one of his most quoted lines in years. Even fans who once criticized the family began calling them an example of redemption. The Harris family went from gossip to gospel, a reminder that vulnerability is sometimes the loudest form of strength. King, meanwhile, reappeared gradually. No more flashy posts or trolling antics. Instead, he shared glimpses of calm, studio sessions, family dinners, moments of laughter that looked genuine this time. One post simply said, "Healing in silence hits different." It became an instant trend. The same internet that once mocked him now called him a symbol of resilience. "He's proof that fame doesn't define you, how you fight through the pain does." Others said, "Maybe this is what growing up looks like when the whole world's watching." Still, the mystery remained. What exactly happened to King Harris? What did T mean when he said, "Please don't take my son"? Some say it was physical, others swear it was emotional, but maybe the truth doesn't need to be defined. Maybe the battle wasn't meant for public understanding, only personal healing. And that's what makes this story so powerful. It's not about tragedy. It's about transformation. It's the moment the Harris family stopped performing for the world and started living for themselves again. Even now, the internet can't stop revisiting it. Every time King posts, comments flood in with prayers, encouragement, and love. The same world that once laughed now protects him, because in a culture obsessed with downfall, watching someone climb back up feels like redemption for everyone. And while the Harris family might never tell the full story, one thing is certain: King Harris' secret battle changed them all. It turned T from a preacher into a protector, Tiny from a mother into a warrior, and King from a headline into a human. And maybe that's what this whole thing was really about. Not loss, not sickness, but rebirth. Because sometimes, life doesn't take people away, it just shakes them until they finally wake up. And there you have it, the story that ripped through hip-hop royalty like a thunderstorm and reminded the world that even fame bleeds. King Harris' secret battle didn't just humble an empire. It exposed the truth hiding behind the fame, the filters, and the flexing. T, the man who built his name on strength, was forced to face a moment no father ever wants. Watching his child fight a war he can't win for him. If this story hit you like it hit the internet, then you already know what to do. Smash that like button like you're trying to wake up the algorithm, subscribe before the next leak drops, and hit that bell so you never miss a single meltdown, miracle, or moment that shakes the culture. Drop your thoughts below. Was this a warning from life itself, or just another reminder that even kings can crack under pressure? Do you think the industry will ever stop eating its young, or are we just watching history repeat itself with designer chains and better lighting? One thing's for sure, the Harris story isn't done. Every silence, every post, every lyric is a breadcrumb leading to the next chapter. And here at Fame Ripple, we don't just chase the stories, we dive headfirst into the fallout. Because fame doesn't echo, it ripples. Stay watching, stay loud, and stay ready, because tomorrow's tragedy is already trending.